Good afternoon to all of you for the 12th day of this FDP. Today's title is Writing Research Proposal
Hello,
for
hello.
Grants.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, sir. So, today's topic is writing research proposal for grants. And speaker is Professor Subhas S. Soni, sir. He has
Saurabh Soni,
done
Prashant
Saurabh,
bhai, Saurabh Soni.
Saurabh Soni, sir. He did his bachelor in 1994 to 1997, master in physical chemistry in physical chemistry, PhD in chemistry in 2003 is completed, and he has done his postdoctoral fellowship from the France in 2005 to 2006. Currently, he is working as a professor in the Department of Chemistry and serving as a director in the Department of Applied and Interdisciplinary Science, Sardar Patel University. He has currently working in the field of materials for advances energy storage and energy generalized device. He has received the seven funded DST funded Scrub and UGC projects. Seven PhD students is awarded under him, and currently four students are working under him. 90 peer-reviewed paper is published under his name, and four books and two patent also is there. He has more than 20 years of experience and awarded with the GSA Dr. AK Shah Best Paper Award in 2018, 2021. Honored with the visiting China for the 4 weeks. IAM Scientist Medal in 2017 for outstanding work in area of nanoscience and technology. Young Scientist Award from the DST Delhi. He has awarded 3 years for 2015 to 18 for membership in American Chemical Society. He has also received the most cited article during 2011 and 12 by Elsewhere publication. He has received the Best Paper Presentation Awards from the Community Science Center, Rajkot, India, and received the Sardar Patel Research Award in 2018. And he has various membership like American Mathematical Society, Mathematical Material Chemistry of India, Indian Society of Radiation and Photochemical Sciences, and member of board of studies in various universities. So I welcome Professor Saurabh Soni sir to deliver a talk on how to write a research proposal for grants. So welcome you sir in this FDP, and now I will invite Soni sir to say his idea about. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, to Prashant Patel, for introducing me and nice words about me. Good afternoon, all the participants. And we are on a lovely Sunday, and that too after the lunch. So this is a post-lunch session, and we all aware that post-lunch sessions are normally people are looking for a good thing. Means if the lecture is not good, then they might feel in problem. So in another 1 hour or 1.5 hour or so, my objective is to brief you about the research project proposal, why we need to write the research project proposal, why it is essential nowadays. Earlier also it was essential, and now it is much more essential. And while writing the research proposal, what kind of precaution or what kind of points we need to emphasize so that the chances of getting success becomes more. So during my entire presentation, like I'm prepare a presentation in such a way that at each and every point of the or sub part of the proposal, we will discuss what kind of things should be included, and in the desire or in a specific area or a specific title, what should we write so that it should have an impact. So basically, maybe as it is a faculty development program, even in the participant group, there are people those who have already handled or maybe submitted some proposal before also. And so like those who have maybe encountered the or they have already submitted the proposal, they can also get benefit that what kind of stuff may be useful for even the future proposal also. So like it should be an interactive session. I think it is better you can keep interacting even during the presentation. You can drop the message, or else we may discuss the things and means discuss the things in detail at the end of our talk. So I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know whether it is visible or not. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you very much. As it was mentioned and the task was given, the title of the proposal is writing research proposal for grant. Now we all aware that normally there are two stages where we need to submit the research proposal. One is nowadays when we are supposed to do the registration as a PhD student, then we need to write down the tentative research proposal, that what we are going to do during our PhD. That is also research proposal, but that is not for grant. Means we are not going to submit the proposal for grant unless and until you are applying for some international or some national or international fellowships, where you need to submit the proposal of the research to get the financial support during your PhD also. But in majority of the cases, we are encountering the, or we need to submit the research proposal for grants rather than for research or PhD. So, the outline of my talk is why we need to submit the proposal, what are the funding opportunities, from where we can get the funding. That is most and foremost important things, because nowadays to get a fund or getting fund becomes quite difficult compared with the earlier scenario. What kind of pre and post proposal, before and after submission of the proposal, or after the sanction of the proposal, what kind of things we need to consider, that also we will discuss. What is the format, typical format? I am not these slides which I have prepared, it is not uh, on the basis of the specific call or specific proposal format which normally a funding agency is looking for, but it is a quite general, the format is quite general, uh, which is independent of the specific funding agency. And last, we will interact with each other by question answer session. Now, the first and foremost thing is why we need to write down the research proposal or research project. As I already told you, that we need to present the plan for our research, which normally we are also doing, people also do when they got registered as a PhD student. Second one is to get funding. Nowadays we all aware that for any kind of institute, NAC is mandatory. NAC accreditation is mandatory, and there are different criteria. Under criteria 3, that is the research and innovation, there is a specific point in which how much amount of fund, individual fund generated or fund obtained to carry out the research by the faculty members. So that's why, to get research fund is also essential as far as individual is concerned, and also as an institute also, because institute can able to show that this much fund were generated from our faculty members, so they can get benefit in terms of NAC accreditation. And again, NAC accreditation is now correlated with the funding. So if we can get not only funding, but there are plenty of other schemes which is correlated with NIRF ranking, NAC ranking, NAC accreditation, or what is the score. If you got A, then you are eligible for some fund, extra fund which normally people are getting. So that is another requirement or mandatory things for which we should write research proposal. The third point is to conduct the research and make a significant contribution to the field of current status. This is very, very important. In as now India is looking for, make in India, made in India, and other stuff. Like whatever research we should do, that should be in benefit of the society and as a whole to the country and to the world. So if you want to do, or if you are working uh, in a specific area which is quite useful, but as you are not applying for any kind of funding or something like that, then people will not get recognition. Means you will not get recognition that you are working in this field which is of importance of nation, for a nation or a world in general. So that's why, in order to contribute in a specific area, particularly which is of interest in a current scenario. For example, if we talk like nowadays, people across the globe, they are going for zero emission or carbon CO2 reduction. For that purpose, every country is promoting the electrical vehicle, use of electrical vehicle. So if you are working in such type of area, and then you can show that, okay, my part or whatever research I am doing, that can have an impact on a current scenario or current status or current requirement of the society. So whatever research we should do, that should have some impact on the society also, that we will see later on, that why, and nowadays why every funding agency is asking what is the social benefit, how your research is going to be useful for policy making, etc., etc. So under different areas they are asking this, and it is almost a kind of a mandatory stuff. And as I told you, the as an individual, if you write the research proposal or get fund, then you get the academic credential. Means in terms of promotion in your career, if you can able to get fund, you can claim some API that will help you to get promoted if you are in academics. So that is also for the development of an individual. So if you can get fund, you can earn the not only academic credential, but you earn the API, which will help you to get promoted either under cash, or if you are applying for maybe a higher position, then also you can show that, okay, I am working in so and so area and I got this much amount of fund for my research. That will have an impact during the interview. Now, what are the different ways or no uh, banner under which we have to write the proposal? As I told you, there are some government agency like Prime Minister Office Fund or something like that, which normally we can apply. We can have an industrial project. We can submit the proposal to the industry to solve their problem. For possible collaboration, maybe nationally, internationally, and if you want to do the collaboration, there are some scheme which is useful for international collaboration and also for the national collaboration. But for that purpose also, we need to submit the research proposal. Again, endowment fund and alumni. So if you want to get some fund, like in some of the universities, they have some endowment from fund from some donor or some alumni. And if you want to utilize them, then also you write down you have to submit the proposal. Then professional association. The next one is technology transfer. Technology transfer means something you have, some results you have, and you need some funding to make that technology viable. Means whatever you have done in lab or at the our departmental level, if you want to convert them into kind of a technology or some scheme, then for that purpose also you need to submit the proposal. Then fellowships and scholarships, as I already mentioned, like if you want to apply for some fellowships, then fellowships in terms of proposal they are offering. So for that kind of banner, you also need to submit the proposal. Then exchange program. Exchange means bilateral exchange program between two countries, and even within India there are some scheme where we can go and do some work at a very good institute, and for that we need to submit the proposal. So if you are having, or if you are working in some university and colleges, and if you want to spend some time in some good lab or some good research institute, Then there are some scheme where you can apply, but that application also should be in the form of a proposal. You will get the funding for your entire stay, even to and from, and other financial benefit you will get from that funding. And the last one is the private sources. Private sources mean as an individual, if you are if you are in touch with someone and if they want to support your idea, then again we need to submit the proposal. So these are the different areas or different ways where you need to apply in terms of proposal. Now, what is the entire journey for the making the proposal and how it get finalized and submission? So, and why it is essential to get the final stage of the generation of the research fund. So in order to get the funding for your research, first of all you need to identify the research problem. This is very important stuff. I can say that it is the nowadays, as the number of calls or specific calls are very less, then we should first focus on research problem. Normally, for this purpose, we need to go through the current government policy in nationally, even internationally. There are some bodies, those who are looking for a specific area research. So, if you can identify them, then it will be better, or chances of getting fund becomes high. So first and foremost thing before starting making proposal is identifying the research problem. How to identify or on which area we need to submit our research proposal. That is very important. Second one is once your problem is ready, then we need to find out the appropriate funding agency from where I can get the funding. Suppose I am working, for example, I am working in the area of renewable energy resources. Then the chances of getting fund from National Renewable Energy Resources Department or some other department are more compared with other funding agencies. So we need to tap once our problem is has been identified, then we need to find out the appropriate funding agency so that we can get the maximum benefit, particularly in terms of chances of getting fund. So the first one is to identify problem. Second one is identify the funding opportunity, means from where we can get the fund for desired research problem. The third one is we need to make a strong research proposal, and that we will discuss in detail in next slides, that how to prepare a strong research proposal. Then once you submit the research proposal, then the next process is it has to be peer review. Once you submit it to the funding agency, so normally they get the peer reviewed on your submitted proposal. Then acceptance, maybe sometimes they accept directly, or sometimes they raise some queries and ask you to submit or resubmit it again. Try to comply then queries. Then you acknowledge them, communicate with the other research funding how to do that funding. Then we can, like while writing the proposal, if you could identify some of the research group, then you can make a network also, that how to work on a desired problem in a group. So we can have a collaboration with some other people, those who are working in the similar area. And the last one is the explore for future opportunity. So whatever outcome, or once you execute the project, whatever outcome will be there, that will be beneficial. Sometimes it will open the next research problem, open the door for next research problem. So at the end of the proposal, we can say that at the end of the execution of the project, then we will have some new ideas for which we can get the funding. So that's why I have connected that to the first point, that once the we have some result in our hand, that may open the door for next research proposal or next research idea. Now, how to identify the research problem? As I told you in last slide, that first and foremost thing is we need to identify the strong research problem. So the next question or next task is how we can identify the research problem. So for that purpose, you need to do the review of the current research. What is current research work going on nationally as well as internationally? So you need to identify them. in which area people are working, or what you can say, in which area the government and other funding agency are giving fund very frequently. So that is the first and foremost thing. So in general, we can say that we need to do some literature survey, that what is the current scenario of the research and even requirement of the society on maybe some policy of the nation. Now, once you get that, then in that specific research area, you have to identify the unanswered question. That is very important stuff. Like once we identify the area, then we have to see that what kind of work has already been done, what are the scope of the next level of research. So we need to identify some unanswered question means like whatever research work has been done, still what are the gaps, or what are the scope of the further research work that we need to identify. Then, as I told you, this is something related with that identification of the significance of the work. Then if you are doing in the applied research, then identify the TR level. This is TR level, that is in general people are saying TRL. That TR is the technology readiness level. In the next slide, I will show you that what is technology readiness. That means based on the research, there are different type of research. First is the basic research. Then once your basic research has been done, then you can transfer this technology. Means there are chances of transformation of technology. So, but we need to see that. I think it is better to discuss this first. Like you can see, it is the scale which is defined universally. TRL level 1 to 9. One is basic research, means whatever we are doing in lab, very fundamental stuff. So basic principle observed and reported. And then TR level 2 is applied research, that how this basic principle is going to be useful for the application purpose, and likewise it will improving. You can see 4 and 5 is laboratory testing level. Then once you have a prototype of any kind of device, that is TRL 6, and then the rest is ready for commercialization or large scale production. So we need to identify where we are. If you are at about TRL 5, then good. Then chances of getting fund becomes very high. Or else you can say that okay, I want to start in a new area, but right now I want to focus on the fundamental research or basic research work. So sometimes, but it is much more useful for science, even social science also. We have seen some of the project where they are at the technology readiness level. The next one is, if possible, identify interdisciplinary work. Nowadays, if you see the NEP 2020, and the major portion, or they have emphasized on inter and multidisciplinary research as well as teaching approach. So if you could able to identify the area research problem which is touching to the different discipline of the research, then it will be good. So if possible, try to identify that whether my problem is having any interdisciplinary impact or not. Then next one is the through evaluation of state of the art, means what we can do state of the art work in a specific area, and what will be the societal impact. As I rightly mentioned from the beginning, that whatever research we are doing or we will do, it should have some social impact. If it is having a social impact, then we can serve the society by doing the research in a specific area. So we have to find out the even the problem which is touching to the various aspects or various problems which people are facing in their day-to-day life. Then next one is aligned with the priority of funding agency. Different funding agency has their different priority. Normally they made or they list their priority based on the national policy or national requirement, or sometimes international requirement. So specific funding agency may look for a specific funding or specific area of research problem. So we need to visit the website, or some of like their website and their booklet, some circular or some news letter which are coming from the specific ministry. Then we can identify some of the research project from them. that particular area, and we can get some input or feedback from collaborators. So if you are working in some area and even not knowing some people, but while identifying the research problem and while doing the literature survey, you could able to find, okay, these are the XYZ people, those who are working in this area. So we may contact them, and then we sit together and identify the common problems where they which where we can work jointly. So some input we may get from our collaborator also. Okay, these are the areas in which if we can work, that will be better. Now this we have already discussed. Now once the problem has been identified, the next question is we need to find out the proper funding agency, and before we will go for funding agency, we need to see, okay, from where I can get the fund, and sometimes we need to spend some time to find out whether specific calls are coming or where the current openings are there under which we can apply. So there are different points. One is online search. We can do the Google searching that what are the funding agency where we can get the fund. Second one is the identify the specific call. As I already mentioned, some of the funding agency, they are uh, calling, or they are asking or inviting the proposal on a specific area for a specific time. So we need to test. And nowadays, I think majority of funding agencies, they are giving the calls in a once in a year. So we have to be very careful and very attentive to tap this kind of call so that we can apply. Otherwise, we have to wait for next call which may come in the next year. Now by that time, whatever problem you have identified, after 1 year it might get old or not new, or somebody else already have done some work. So that's how we need to be very attentive, and we have to see the specific calls which are normally floated or normally floating by the funding agency. As I already told you, you can get this information from the newsletter which are coming from the funding agency. We may get email or call from funding agency. Normally, once you are applying nowadays, no, majority of the funding agency, they are asking for submission of proposal through online mode. So once you are applying for that, you need to create your credential, and by doing that, they have your entire data. So whenever there will be a specific call in a next time or next round of a specific call, then they might send you the email or intimation through email. Then we need to connect with the industry, like if you are working in social science and other stuff, and even in the science also, for a specific area, some industry people are looking for their solution, and for that purpose we should have some strong tie-up at the university level. Even in some colleges, there are some unit like university industry interaction cell that will provide you some help, that okay, particular XYZ industry are looking for some funding or some problem, a solution of some problem. So we can tap them. And as I told you, talk to the collaborator. And the last one is, while doing or while attending the conference and workshop, we could able to see that okay, what are the different areas or what are the different funding agency from where we can get the fund for desired research problem. Now these are the list of funding agencies which are available. Even at the end of my talk, I will show you the snapshots of various funding agencies. But these are the major funding agency: SJRB, DST. These, some of them are national, some of them are international. For example, last but second one, CEFIPRA, Arasmunda, IUSSFTA. These are even DFGs, Indo-German. And it is not only for the science, it is also for the social science. Even TWAS fellowship, majority of the cases, their funding is towards the social science issue. So we need to tap not only the Indian funding agency, funds from the Indian funding agency, but we can also apply to the international funding agency, where we can get fund even for travel to execute the work, you can travel the other laboratory across the globe, so you can get the fund from for travel also. So there are different resources. Only the thing is that we need to tap them at the right time, submit the proposal, and then get the funding for your research. Now, how to make research proposal? So this is a general outline of what we can do and what is the time frame or what is the procedure we need to follow for the submission of the research proposal. As I told you, first and foremost thing is identify the theme of the problem, identify the area of the research, or particularly priority area of the research, and then you based on that current work or whatever work has been carried out so far, we need to identify the objectives objectives of the research which need to be carried out. Then once your objectives are ready, then we can find out the gaps, or means scope of the work, then rationality of the study. You can have a research question followed by methodology, research methodology. Methodology normally covers the process or methods which we are going to utilize for execution of this work. Then expected outcome and deliverable. What will be the expected outcome? Then we need to write down the budget. How the budget is very crucial portion that we will discuss. Majority of this part we will discuss in detail that what we should write in a specific area. Then timeline and packages and milestones which need to be established. Role of each participant. Like if you have submitted a proposal jointly, more than one principal investigator involved for executing this work, any research work, then how and what kind of work will be executed by each of the participant or each of the principal investigator. So, with this, we need to define the role of each participant, that how uh, we can get or how the entire project or aim and objective decided by the project will be executed. Then next one is plan based on the expected outcome. That, as I already told you, it should have some expected outcome also. Every time they are asking that what will be the expected outcome in terms of device, in terms of paper, in terms of book chapter, in terms of pattern, any kind of stuff. We need to mention that by executing this work, what kind of outcome you will get at the end of the project. Uh, then sometimes we need to consult our collaborator. Then upon exchange of the entire research proposal to each other, we get the input from them and we can prepare the final proposal and then try to submit. So these are the different components of the proposal which we need to cover while preparing our proposal. Again, I am mentioning here that we will see each and every point in detail once we will move further. Now, what kind of homework we need to do? As I already told you, before writing proposal, we first and foremost thing is we need to identify the current trends. So these are the questions which we need to get the answer before we will submit or starting writing the proposal. First one is what are the current trends? That means which are the area or which are the current research area in which we can write down the fund or ask for funding. What are the current limitation and restriction? Once the area has been identified, what are the limitation? What is the scope of further improvement? The next question is what subject area where funding is normally given. So we need to not only see the current area, but also see the funding agency in recent year how much fund they have given to the specific area of the research. So we have to do some homework that okay, which type of research idea they are promoting or they are supporting by giving the fund in last couple of year or so. So that also we need to identify. Now, what are the future plan of for the funder? Means how and what kind of area they are looking for. So future plan also give you an idea about the area of the research. Then this is a kind of like bureaucrats that who are the decision makers and assessors. Every proposal which we are going to submit, it will be evaluated by some experts in the desired field. So these experts may be either from university level, some of the cases they are from colleges within nation, outside nation. So we need to find out, okay, who will be the decision maker. Based on that, we can plan our research proposal also. And as I told you, what kind of review process? Review means either they are reviewing the proposal through some external expert, followed by presentation and some other stuff. So we must know that how my project proposal would be executed or assessed after submission. Deadline again we have to keep into mind how long this will process take. That means the entire once you submit the proposal, how long the disease, how long they will, uh, how long what you can say the decision will come. Means what is the entire process or how long it will take to complete the entire process from submission to the sanction or submission to the decision. That also need to know. The simple thing is if they are taking more than 1 year and in between some call will come, then you can plan for submission of the similar type of idea to the other funding agency also. But before that we have to be sure that the that round or decision is over. Then what is the proper way to approach them? Means how we can approach the funding agency. Funding agency, it is very very clear that they are normally asking or floating the desired call. But if you are going for, let us say, funding from alumni, funding from endowment fund, funding from industry, then we need to approach. So what is the proper way to approach them? That also need to be fine. Then again I am telling you that we need to apply, we need to see that how many people are submitting the proposal, and out of total submitted proposal, how many of them funded by the different funding agency. And as I told you that funding body website and other related newsletter or something like that, that will help us to find out the research area. So that also need to be referred before starting the research proposal. This is kind of a homework. Now we are focusing on the main part, our part, that is uh, what are the different structure or what is the structure of the proposal. So you can see there are starting from the title and last one is bibliography, or we can say the references. There are different heading under which we need to provide the information while submitting the research proposal. So typical starting with title. Nowadays we need to submit this summary or abstract including a table of content if required, followed by introduction. This introduction may have a kind of a origin of problem. Introduction is nothing but it is a origin of problem, from where this problem come, what kind of work has already been done in the desired area, and what are the scope, and based on that what were the aim and objectives, background of the significance of the work, literature review, whatever you have done, maybe literature review in form of national and international review process, how many people are working in nationally as well as internationally, and research design and methodology. Methodology and research design is quite important for the proposal, because that will show your confidence level, that how much expertise you have in a desired proposed area of the research. So there is a, and it should be followed by research question, supposition, or maybe what you can say a significance of the work as far as the societal impact is concerned, and conclusion is maybe in very few funding agencies they are asking for conclusion, and followed by the last one is the bibliography that should contain some references which we have referred for making this proposal. So this is the structure of the proposal. As I already told you earlier, this is independent of specific funding agency. Maybe some funding agency have almost similar kind of stuff, but one or two things may be up and down. One more criteria is there, but it is something and somewhere related or near to this mentioned areas or titles of the sub part of the proposal. The first and foremost thing is title. Title should be very precise. Means it should reflect the entire research work which you are proposing. So the selection of title is quite crucial, and first important point which we need to emphasize that our title should be short, not that much long, and it should reflect the entire content of the project proposal. Uh, as I already told you, avoid very big titles. Even I had been in touch with some of the decision makers. They are always saying that don't use the word studies and other stuff, because studies and other thing reveal that the the work has already been done and you are reviewing or studying that work. So if you are normally applying for funding, then our idea should be novel. Then only people should give you fund. So in order to get that, don't use the word studies and study. Try to avoid. Some of the people, some of the experts, they have told that don't use such kind of word studies and other stuff. So try to avoid such letters in your title. So your title must be precise, short, and have an impact. And it should followed by abstract. Nowadays, uh, earlier what happened, once you apply for funding, they are calling you for the presentation. So we have the second opportunity to represent our thought in front of the expert. But nowadays, situation is different. Scenario is different. We need to submit the proposal online. Majority of the cases, they will take the decision without consulting you further. Even though they are sanctioning your project, the decision will come on the basis of whatever you have submitted. Now the thing is that when they are after submission of the proposal, when the funder or funding agency is transferring this for a possible evaluation from the expert, normally they used to send only title along with the abstract. So our abstract should be so powerful that whatever one paragraph or two paragraph which we are writing should cover the entire research proposal. So just by reading the abstract and title, they should able to realize, okay, this research proposal should have something, and I must have to evaluate. So it's a kind of a, what you can say, impactful things, or first impression is last impression kind of stuff. So these two part, particularly title and abstract, are the first impression making on either the funding agency as well as the expert. So your abstract must be uh, at the beginning of the research proposal. It should be very precise. We have to stick to the guideline from the funding agency, because some of the funding agency, they are restricted their number also, that your abstract should not be more than this much number of letters or words, and sometimes they are asking more than, not more than half page or so. So that need to be, means that guideline need to be considered and taken care while writing the abstract. Abstract should be brief and represent brief about your research. Sometimes it also include the keywords. So in some of the funding agency, the proposal format has a provision that along with abstract, you can what you can say, you can write down the keywords of the research work, and followed by the introduction is followed by uh, sorry, abstract is followed by the introduction, which is also known as origin of the problem. So introduction should cover that what kind of work or what is the origin of the problem. Sometimes they ask about the, yeah. So sometimes they ask about anything like national and international under this banner, or in some funding agencies they are asking under the banner of background of the work. So I think some participants like mute their
Yeah,
mic.
I have muted them.
Okay, thank you. So like introduction normally should cover the origin of the problem, what work has been already done, or maybe you can say that what is the problem which currently people are facing or society is facing, and from where this problem origin. So what need to be get attention is that at the end of the introduction section should be a kind of a paragraph where we can show that uh, what is the scope of the future work, what are the scope, what are the lacking, or what is the gap in which, or what work has been done, and what is the gap or what are the problem which need to be addressed again or addressed further. So the last paragraph of the introduction section must have this opening, that what is the opening, it's a kind of an opening of a new research area. So as I told you, it should introduce your research idea. It covers the research problem and the question it raises. As I mentioned, that these are the problem which we need to be addressed, and hence I am undertaking this research work. Such kind of stuff should be written at the end of the introduction session section. It can also include the keyword used in the proposal towards the end. So whatever keywords we are using, it should be included. It should provide the context of for your research. So means what kind of research work you are going to conduct, that should contain, and it must be precise and must cover all the relevant information related to your research proposal or aim and objective. uh, we have to be very careful not to make it like all the information cram into one paragraph. So it should be very precise. Normally, the introduction should be not more than 1.5 page. In majority of the funding agency, they are asking to write down the introduction for 1 page or half page. Sometimes some funding agency may ask you to go for more, but not more than 1 page they are allowing. Majority of the funding agency is not allowing to have introduction section more than a page. So we have to be very precise on what kind of problem people are facing, and based on that what kind of aim and objective which we are going to execute in the proposed research project. So after the introduction, based on the scope of the future work, we should have aim and objective. So hence I told you that your introduction section last paragraph should be what are the possible ways or what are the lacking in the particular research area. So based on that, you can write down that okay, based on the necessary or based on the demand of the society, we have decided an aim and objective for the current research work. Something like that, followed by the aim and objective of the research work. Your aim and objective uh, are should be in the bullet form, and normally it should cover the entire research proposal. Normally it should not be more than 4 to 5, and here we have to be very careful while deciding or while making the aim and objectives, that your objectives should not emphasize or so that okay, we could not able to complete this in a proposed time of the proposal. Like if I am applying for funding for 2 years, then my aim and objective should be in such a way that I could able to achieve them within 2 years. Sometimes we are over enthusiastically we are writing more than 7, 6, 7 aim and objective, but it is not realistic. We could not able to achieve them in a desired period of time which we are proposing. So that may have a bad impression on the expert. They realize that, and that shows that you have not understand the research problem properly, and that may lead to the rejection of the proposal. So while writing the aim and objective, we have to be very, very careful. It should not show that, okay, this is the research work which we are proposing for 5 years. No, this is the research work which, or these are the objective which we can achieve within a couple of years or 3 years. So your objective must be what you can say, uh, must be achievable in a given timeline, and it should not be very optimistic, means should not contain more than like 4 5 objectives which we are not normally able to achieve in a specific time. And as I told you, the background or significance of the work, this section where you explain why the research is essential, and normally it if it is not covered, some of the funding agencies they are covering under the introduction section, or majority of the cases they are that national and international scenario they are considering or asking under the banner of background of the work. So if how many people are working globally, that will come under the banner of international scenario. And national scenario, what are the Indian scientists or Indian scientific group, which are the Indian scientific group, those who are working in the desired area, how much work they have done, what are their achievements or results they have mentioned. That entire stuff need to be discussed under the banner of background or significance of the problem. So we need to write down entire background of the work already done in the proposed area of research. Now here, if you are working in this area, particular proposed area, maybe you have done some background of the work, then it is better to show in this section that we are also working in this area, maybe part of that area, and uh, you know that should have an impact. Because if you could not, if you are proposing something like being a chemist, if I am asking or if I am submitting a proposal for, let us say, artificial intelligence and machine learning, then I should have to prove or I have to show some of the evidence that I am also capable enough to handle this problem. So whenever we are proposing aim and objective or some work, your proposal should have a, at given point should contain that some part of the writing where you can show that I am having this much expertise which will be beneficial to execute or to achieve the aim and objective proposed under this project. This is very, very crucial. I have seen, I have been admitted, or I have an experience that they are asking, if they are saying, okay, you have not done this work, how much confidence you have to execute this work. Unless and until they will not realize this, they will not ready to give you funding. If I am proposing some project, let us say in mathematics, then they will ask, or they expect that I should know some minimum mathematics so that I can able to execute the project. This is one example. That means whenever you are proposing something, you should have to show that I have a capability to execute this research uh, objectives which we have proposed under the research proposal. Then literature review again, as we have to write down the national and international scenario, we have to carry out the research literature review. That means of which the literature which is already available in the sources which need to be referred. So literature review plays a vital role to identify who, which research group or who are working in this specific area, You can explore the information related to the study of the books, means already available books or articles and other sources. The main objective here is to establish the research gap. As I've already told you, the national and international scenario, for writing the national and international scenario, we should do the literature review. So that will give you an impact. Okay, these are the problem or these are the problem gap, which we need to cover in this proposal. Now this is quite important, or you can say heart of the research proposal, that research design and methodology. So even though if you are working in science or even social science or humanities, one way or other way, we should give some information regarding what kind of methodology which we are going to adopt to execute the proposed research work. And as I already mentioned earlier, that in order to get the confidence of the expert, we have to show here that I am capable enough, or I have an expertise, or I am working in this area since maybe last 4 or 5 years, so that I can able to execute the uh, research work or proposed research work. So your research methodology should be very easy or easy to understandable, and hence the whatever type of research which we are going to conduct, is it, whether it is a quantitative or qualitative. uh, I had been in one or two meeting of the research project proposal evolution, and what people found that normally, some of the PI, principal investigator, who is submitting the proposal, they do not wish to disclose their research methodology. In one extent it is good, in one extent it is good, or you can say you can do it. But if you could not able to show, or if you are not showing what is the exact methodology which you are going to implement to execute the project, then again there will be a doubt and chances of rejection becomes more. So we have to be very very careful while writing the research methodology. You have to provide the information in such a way that it is your monopoly should be retained. At the same time, you are providing the detail of the methodology which you are going to utilize. So some common name, some common nomenclature can be utilized while writing the research methodology. Not very specific, not very what you can say precise, so that people can copy your project, can be rejected, or they reject your project and somebody else will copy your idea. No. So you have to be very careful while writing this part, that you have to provide the information which is which may able to convince the expert in a majority extent. The second point is, you will have to mention if the data is collected originally, particularly for social science and other work. It is necessary that, okay, whatever data I have collected, which is original, or I am taking the help of the data which is already available in the literature. So that need to be mentioned here. This also explain if you are conducting an experimental research or study type of this research, or correlation type of research, or descriptive type of research. So this much information you will get from research methodology. Again, we need to discuss the data which you are working with. If you are conducting social science research, then again you have to describe the demographic intention and for what purpose you are going to execute. Here, if you are taking the help of the human being or some samples from the human, there should be some ethical, guideline or some ethical document which need to be signed by you and a particular person or society or institute. So that care has to be taken if you are utilizing the data from other sources also. You must also explain how you will choose the aim and objective or your subject from the data. Also explain the tools which are going to be used to execute the research work. which may be in the form of survey or interviews or videos. So that much things need to be covered under the research design and methodology. After this, there should be a research question. Some people are also saying it is a timeline or bar diagram. So it should cover that how you are going to obtain or achieve the research question. Also, maybe in the form of a bar diagram, you can show that okay, this much amount of work I am going to execute in first 6 months, next 6 months, or something like that. So entire timeline has to be provided based on the research problem or research questions at the end of the project. Now, this is very, very crucial nowadays because every funding agency, every proposal, they have this kind of section. Okay, whether your research is having a what you can say technology transfer capacity, make in India, made in India, healthy India, or Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we need to give them, okay, my research will be under the banner of this, or it will be beneficial to this. So every proposal nowadays there should be a social impact, how it is going to be useful to the society, whether it will touch to the desired objective or what you can say demand of the nation or something like that. So, primarily, this section talks about the value of your research, which can be added either in terms of some data, some report, or some policy document, or some what you can say, some societal problem or something like that. Even if we are working in science, and if I am saying something, then okay, so output of my research proposal in terms of device, in terms of pattern, or in terms of technology, that we need to specify, and how this is going to be useful to the society. So this type of things need to be covered under this section. And as I already told you, so I have mentioned benefit of your field before you begin, and how it has so your research has a impact on this area that need to be discussed here. And whether your output means whatever report you are going to prepare, whatever research paper which you are going to prepare at the end of the proposal, whether it is going to be useful to the government for making the policy for next 5 years, that is also need to be mentioned under this section. Again, how your research will be created and founding for future research, whether it is going to be opening the new area of research, that also need to be emphasized under this section. Then how it is going to add the practical value, practitioner, researcher and teachers also. The problem which you have taken or work on it, and how that problem or the objective has been fixed after carrying out the research. As I already told you, if it is in the form of a policy, then what kind of implementation or how this policy can be implemented for future. Then how your finding can be implemented for the academics also, because some of our research work is going to be like on a some kind of a history related work or something like that. So if you have some firm conclusion, then later on it will be implemented for the academics, maybe in the textbook of at the different level. So it's overall we can say that whatever output will be there of your research, it should have a social benefit, either in the form of technology, either in the form of social awareness, or in line with the government policy. Conclusion, as I already told you earlier, that it is optional. It is not necessary, or not every funding agency proposal format require conclusion. But in some of the cases they are asking, which is nothing but summary of the proposal. And but you have to be very careful that it should not be very abrupt, means it should not end up with the abruptly instant abrupt ending is not good for proposal. The last portion of the proposal or last main part as far as the technical write-up is concerned is the bibliography. Now, bibliography should contain the references either in the form of a research paper, book, patent, or any website which we have referred. All should be covered under this bibliography. So we need to give the numbering in the our main write-up, and that need to be cited under the section of bibliography. Now, majority of the cases, what we found that in the case of bibliography, the uniformity and other stuff people are not taking care. So we have to be very sure that whatever references which we are citing, they should have a specific format. None of the funding agency is asking that okay, you have to write down as per the New York citation or so and so citation. But whatever you are adopting, it should be uniform. From first to last reference, entire stuff should be uniform. So at the time, full bibliography need to be given, and you have to make sure that whatever number of references we are citing here, it has to be mentioned. It has to be mentioned in the text. So if you in the text, if you are mentioning 20, entire 20 documents should be cited under the banner of bibliography. Now this is most important part is budget. Apart from this technical write-up, so far we have seen the technical write-up that technically what kind of things we need to consider, particularly in terms of title, abstract, methodology, aim and objective, and other stuff. But and this is another part which we have to consider very seriously while writing the proposal. The first one that is the budget. Now you might be aware that in budget there are two kind of heading broadly. One is recurring and second one is non-recurring. Non-recurring grant is a single short grant. That means you will get, for example, grant for equipment. You will get once in a 3 years or something like that, and which need to be utilized in a single shot. And recurring grant means whatever grant which you utilize and remaining grant need to be adjusted for next financial year. So that is coming under means all travel, then contingency, manpower, other things will come under the banner of recurring grant. Each year they will sanction whatever unspent amount of material is there or amount of money is there, which need to be what you can say adjusted into the next financial year. So that budget part will come under the banner of recurring grant. So normally budget should be provided as per the format provided by the funder. If funder has not identified or not given the specific format for budget, then we can show or we have to write in terms of manpower, contingency, travel and field work, other hiring services, and some of the funding agencies they are giving the institutional overhead charges, which is normally 10% of the non-recurring grant. So, if the funder has not provided a specific format, then we need to ask the money in a desired budget head or mention budget head. Now, whatever amount you are asking under each and every budget head, you need to provide them justification. Why I am asking manpower? Why I am asking contingency amount this much? What part or what type of things which I am going to purchase under contingency and why it is required. So for every budget head, we need to provide the proper justification. This is highly essential. If you have not provided the proper justification, I have written 50,000, but I have not given why I need 50,000, then it is questionable. And your budget should not be excessive or unjustifiable. This is very, very important. Sometimes over enthusiastically we are asking good amount of money when we are executing the project, we could not able to utilize them. So at the end of the project, you need to send this money back. Now, sending this money back have a twofold impact. One, you are not able to utilize the money or as per your requirement, means whatever you have proposed and in practice you could not able to execute it. So that will make a bad impression while you are going to submit the next proposal. This proposal will be fine, no issue. Nobody will ask you again. You are going to give them money back. Whatever unspent amount was will be remaining at the end of the project that you need to submit, and you will submit. But the problem is when you are going for next funding, then they will see your track record. Whatever amount you have asked, you could not able to justify or utilize. That means you have not understand it very properly. So that will make an impact when you are going for the next fold of funding. So hence, whenever you are preparing your budget part, you have to be very, very careful while writing each and every or while asking each and every while asking money for each and every budget head. And nowadays, some of the funding agencies they have put upper capping limit that this much we will not fund more than this. So such type of guideline need to be followed while writing the budget portion. Now, what are the important points which need to be emphasized while writing the proposal? So from this point onwards, uh, we are going to focus on what kind of precaution or what are the points on which we need to emphasize. Our entire portion of the research proposal, that what we need to cover under the different banner that we have already discussed, starting from title, abstract, and then introduction, then research methodology, aim and objective and other stuff that we have discussed. Now, what kind of precaution we need to taken care while writing the proposal? So these three are the main point. Your research methodology should be clear, very clear, and justifying the aim and objective, or justifying the proposed work, which for which you are asking money. So you have to give the great attention while writing the research methodology. Then the research tools and procedure which is to be utilized by the researcher. If you are collecting the data, if you are using the data which is already available, that all things need to be mentioned at any point of time in the proposal, and how the research can be executed, or it will whatever amount of budget we are asking, whether it is as per the requirement or justifiable. All these points need to be uh, uh, focused or emphasized while writing the research proposal. Some of these, like institute, they have their own policy for utilizing the money. That also need to be considered, that okay, our institute have this type of policy. For example, manpower nowadays, JRF is essential. While writing the proposal, I have asked manpower research fellow having JRF, so they will sanction me the amount as per the JRF. But while floating the advertisement, I could not able to get the fellow from having JRF. So my next goal is I have to hire someone, but with some other designation, which is not available in the funding agency list. So at that point of time, the institution should have a policy that in such cases, let us say if we say that research assistant with 20,000 or 20,000 plus or 15,000, whatever, there should be some policy. So based on that, we need to write down the proposed budget part. So these are the three main points on which we need to emphasize while writing the research proposal. After identifying the research gap or research topic. Now, at the time of the submission of the proposal, Nowadays, they are asking for the plagiarism report. This is must. So whatever research proposal which we are going to submit, we need to generate the plagiarism report, and that report need to be attached while uploading the document or while uploading the proposal. So we have to be careful. If it is more than 20 or 20 plus percentage, then we need to revise before submission. We have to give them a uh, certificate that this plagiarism means this proposal is having plagiarism less than 20% or so. So plagiarism is must nowadays. Then we need to have a necessary supporting document like endorsement certificate from PI or co-PI, then endorsement certificate from head of the institute. Suppose if you are working on a biological or maybe social science impact related research problem, then you need to submit the ethical certificate. Ethical certificate is highly essential. Otherwise, your project will not be sanctioned if you could not able to submit some ethical certificate at the time of submission or after the sanction of the project. Hence, every institute should have a ethical guideline or ethical policy. Ethical not in terms of research, but in terms of other terms also. So, if you have ethical policy, that policy need to be submitted at the time of the submission, so that they will not ask for ethical certificate. But once the project will be sanctioned, then they will ask you to provide the ethical certificate from the ethical committee at the institutional level. So this much documents are required. This many documents are required apart from the real proposal while you are doing the submission, either online basis or offline basis. Like if you are proposing some instrument, then you need to submit the budgetary quotation that okay, the instrument is small, or maybe if you are going to get the hiring services, then for hiring services, what are the charges or how much they are going to charge. If you have the quotation, it is better to uh, attach them or upload them as an evidential or as an evidence to justify the amount which you have asked under the banner of either equipment grant or hiring services. So if you have such kind of quotation, it is better to attach at this time, and later on once it is going to be sanctioned, do the necessary procedure as per the guideline or as per the policy of the institution. Now, normally, how the proposal, once we have submitted the proposal, how they are going to evaluate. Every funding agency have their own criteria of the evaluation, but this is the common criteria that we sometimes they are asking who is the potential reviewer of your research work, means proposed research project or area of research. Then we need to provide 4 or 5 names of the expert. If not, they will identify themselves for the execution of work. Sometimes they may ask you to do the collaboration. Like some people have already done in a desired area and they are up to some mark. And if you are beginner, then they may join you or they may ask you to go for a collaboration. Then again, maybe they ask you to go for revision of the proposal if at all required, or else they will reject the proposal with XYZ reason. So this is the entire process after submission of the proposal. Sometimes they may ask for revision and that need to be submit. They may give you chance, but it is not true every cases, because right now it is very much competitive. Majority of calls are coming once in a year. So either rejection, yes, yeah, no. There is no scope for revision of the proposal. What we can do based on, they will give you opportunity that based on the input or based on the points or critical suggestion, you can improve your proposal and submit it next time as a fresh proposal. And at that time you can mention that okay, I have submitted XYZ proposal last year, and based on the comments I have overcome or included that comment and revised the proposal which I am submitting here. So that is also possible. But this is the typical review process after submission of the proposal. Now, what are some common reason for the rejection? As I told you, if there is no evidence that proposal will succeed to get the objective or to obtain the objective of the proposal, then the chances of rejection is more. You must have to show them or convince them that okay, I have an expertise to execute the proposed research project. Then only they will put you trust and give you the project. If you are unable to provide this information, it may lead to rejection. A new idea is claimed, but insufficient technical detail is given. As I told you, in the research methodology, if I want to hide something, and if they will find that okay, this methodology is not lead to reach to the objective, then it may lead to go for rejection. So we have to provide the information in such a way that the expert get convinced that okay, whatever methodology they have shown, it is sufficient enough to execute the research work. Third one, proposer seems to be unaware of related research. I at this point I just want to emphasize one experience or point out one experience. I had been there in one of the technical meeting as a PI, and there was a project review meeting for other PI also. And the PI has proposed something which is quite unrealistic. Whatever proposal he has made, which was unrealistic, which was found by the all expert, so they realize that okay, whatever he wrote or he or she wrote is completely unrealistic, or he or she doesn't know that whether it is possible or not, then it may lead to the rejection. Or the first and foremost thing is if they found that okay, this research work has already been carried out and you are proposed nothing is new in your proposal, then also it may lead to the rejection. If the research questions are not clear, then also it may lead to the rejection. If the proposal is routine, means routine application, nothing new will come up, no technology, no societal impact, no new policy will come up, then it may also lead to the rejection. If it is like if someone industry may realize that okay, there is no solution or the proposal has not any impact for providing the solution of the problem which is present in the industry, then also it may go for rejection. Like if they have asked for presentation, and if you could like if your project has been clear in initial screening, and then they may call you either online presentation or offline presentation, and if you are unable to give good presentation, there are number of reasons. If your technical data is good, if your technical write-up is good, technical presentation is good, no problem. But sometimes the presentation slides shows or reflect that okay, whatever I am showing is not realistic. Some presentation are not good, like whatever color and other stuff which we have used is not good. That may create a bad impact, and the proposal which was screened or go through initially, that may lead to rejection after your presentation, and which is very bad. So it is better to prepare the slides in a normal format, white background, no more light color, only one or two color is good. That is also a dark color, and normal, what you can say, font size, font type, all things matter while doing the proposal. Then, if the if the proposal is too expensive, means budget is not as per their requirement, that may also lead to the rejection. If the proposal proposer institution should be uh, funding it or not means sometimes some of the institute they are not supporting the research work, then that may also lead to the rejection. Means if I am applying for funding of renewable energy resources to let us say power electronics, then it is not suitable that funding. So that may lead to the rejection. So we need to identify the proper place of submission of the proposal also. Now some of the key points which need to be considered while writing and submission of the proposal. If you are beginner, don't shame or embrace about asking money or promoting yourself. You have to sell your idea. So you have to be very open up. Don't think that okay, I am asking 20 lakh, how they will think. Don't worry. So whatever you think and justify, if you can able to justify 20 lakh rupees or 20 odd lakh or anything, any amount, then you have to say. Okay. So if you never ask the money, this is a common line which I used to say. You never ask the money, you will never offer. सामने से कोई means none of the people will come in front of you and say that okay, this is 1 crore rupees, you go for research. You have to ask the money for execution of the research work, then only you will get. Without asking, nobody will get anything. Not only money, anything. So we have to ask the money to execute our research work. Without asking, nobody will give. Sometimes after submission of the proposal, maybe initial level, nowadays it is happening very frequently that many of our research proposals get rejected, maybe a number of times, 4, 5, 6, 7 times they are rejecting our proposal. So don't be disappointing. Maybe disappointment should be temporary. We have to overcome the problem. We have to work hard and try again by submitting the proposal in a new format, new idea, new funding agency, better funding agency or very suitable funding agencies. Then, based on the rejection or feedback of the rejected proposal, you can gain the knowledge and try to make the new proposal an error free based on the last input which we have received from the expert. And we have to be very positive before submission. Okay, percentage raise, percentage of the sanction is very less, then don't be disappointed. We have to be very positive while writing or while submitting the proposal. Now, as far as the funding agency is concerned, what they are looking for, they always look for a good researcher. Means those who have a confidence, very good confidence level, and if you could able to reflect them, then they will put trust on you. Then they need a positive investor. As you are going to sell your idea, so we have to be very precise while selling our idea, and we have to think why should they support our idea. We must have the answer of this question so that we can get or we can defend our proposal very easily. Remember that you are not begging, we are not beggars, we are asking money to carry out the research work which will have an impact on the society, nation, or to the world. If you have idea and they have money, so good idea, definitely you will get the money. We need to work professionally, both either as a PI as well as a funding agency or funder. Uh, some relevant people means we need to find out the relevant people from funding agency who can support your things or some ideas. And if you need, you can take the help of the financial people to prepare your budget, or you can take the help those who have already executed the project. Whether like if I have asked 1 lakh rupees under travel, and if I am not entitled for having a airfare, then it is obvious that I am not going to utilize 1 lakh rupees in a given year. So that means whatever I have asked is unrealistic. So if you could not able to understand, maybe you can take the help of the people, those who have already executed the project. So they may guide you and seek professional advice, as I already told you, for publication and other dispute also. Now, once you will get the project, we are be positive. Once you will get the project, what kind of different things you have to do, what kind of what you can say steps you need to take after the sanction of the project, till the completion of the project, or after completion of the project. So once the project is accepted, and if you have asked the manpower, first and foremost thing is we need to hire the manpower. If you have proposed any equipment, procure the equipment. We have to prepare the statement of account either on yearly basis. Some of the funding agencies they are asking for uh, either quarter basis or twice in a year. Means every 6 months you need to submit the statement of account. We need to communicate our result either in the form of a report, either in the form of research publication or anything. But this is very important. Whenever you are getting some fund, don't forget to acknowledge the funding agency with a proper line at very appropriate places. Without acknowledging the funding agency, if you will do or communicate any paper, that may lead or that may put you in a problem. uh, Human manpower training which we are doing, like if you are hiring manpower, then it is again HR training. Equipment will be, once you hire the equipment, that will be beneficial or useful to the other user within the department, outside the department. It may end up with the good collaboration, network linking. We will get the milestone which we have finalized in the form of aim and objective that need to be achieved. And once the project is over, we need to submit the final report along with whatever output like paper publication, human research training, or patent, or book, or report, or anything that need to be finalized, and report preparation has to be done and submitted to the uh, particular agency. So from this point, I have shown or I have included some screenshot of the funding agency where you can apply for funding. A UGC still they are giving fund for some limited. Majority of the what you can say uh, schemes are closed, but still there are some uh, areas where you can get the funding, and some of them are already listed out: single girl child for PhD work, DS Kotari fellowship, postdoctoral fellowship after PhD, then Radhakrishnan fellow postdoctoral fellowship for humanities and social science. Such type of schemes are already going on, so student can apply. Again, it's a kind of a proposal. Similarly, for other minor research project, major research project, this is for colleges. College people or college teacher can apply for this. Every region, every college will fall under the four region, one of the four region of the UGC, and you they need to apply at that center. This is ICSSR for humanities and social science. Normally, they are giving the funding, and this is the website where you can get the uh, different information. You can see they are giving the national fellowship, senior fellowship, postdoctorate fellowship, doctorate fellowship also, but in the area of social science, humanities, and other stuff. ISRO, these are some of the, like CSI are also giving SRF. Those who have who completed a couple of years in their research, and if they have good publication, then they will give SRF for another couple of years or so. This is ICAR. This is for agriculture, and ICMR. Then these are the different funding agency: atomic energy, nuclear, BRNS, EN, BRNS, and other stuff. Mathematics and other people also get benefit out of it. This is biotechnology related, CSIR. Then these are specific or science. If you want to carry out some research work related to Earth, it is better to submit your proposal under this rather than going here and there. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to tap the appropriate funding agency for your research problem. This is Ministry of Coal. This is again a DST. This is another related to electronics and information and technology, environment, forest. Then again, as I mentioned, new and renewable energy resources. Then food processing industry. If you are working in the area of food and related stuff, nutrition and other stuff, then you may get the funding from these. Some of them are very specific. So my end knowledge is you prepare a proposal, submit, even though it not get succeeded, you not get succeeded, but maybe try again. Whatever input you will get from the expert, try to modify your proposal to overcome the shortfalls, and then you can resubmit it for the funding. So if you have any question, doubt, or related to this, anything you can ask me. Now session is open. If anyone want to ask anything, hello, am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, sir. You
Yeah.
are audible. Yeah, Jyotindra
Hello.
sir wanted to ask
Yes.
something.
Saurabh
Yes.
sir,
Yes.
one question is that the one paper present means the one paper for the presentation at the conference at Spain.
Yes.
Okay,
Spain.
that is accepted of Prashant. Is there any
Yes.
funding agency for the financial support for the Prashant?
Yeah, I think there are some funding agency. I know SERB and other stuff. They have a provision to attend or present the paper at the conferences. It is feasible.
Okay,
You can ask them. But only thing is there are two criteria. One is age limit. If you are beyond that age limit, they will give you only travel support. They will not give you
okay,
registration fee. But for other like below that age limit, you will get registration fee also and also for travel. So it is feasible. Only thing is you need to apply, I think 90 days or 60 days before your original this one event, then only they will give you support. But they are giving it is there is no bar even for money. If you want to visit any foreign country, they will give.
okay, right. Prashant bhai,
Yes, sir.
yes, I think this is a solution of your query that
Hmm.
we discussed before the 2 or 3 days.
Hmm.
Yes,
Okay,
there
or
are
you can contact to Saurabh
yeah,
Furnace, the Department of Chemistry.
definitely,
No problem.
definitely,
And
anytime.
second thing, I am really thankful to you as a convener of this uh, international faculty development program. Uh, I really appreciate your efforts that you prepared this session and lecture within just
No,
for the
no
few hours
problem.
you and
Right,
your
right. So my
schedule
pleasure.
that
Only
was
thing is
the
there was some social reason, and other than that, I don't have any problem. So anytime if anybody wants detail about the funding and anything, they can contact me anytime.
and I think your father also hospitalized. Now, what about the health?
He's good. He's good.
Okay.
Day before yesterday only he got discharged.
Okay, means thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir, for your nice and informative session. Really, this is very useful for us. And what is that TRL 1, 2, 3 up to 9? This is really very interesting and informative for us.
Actually, across the globe, they have made a kind of a scale. This is a scale which reflect that technology readiness level. That means whatever work we have done, if I have prepared, like if we are doing a basic science work, I have some result. That means I am at TRL level 1. If I work basically or I have fulfilled the basic research, I have executed it, convert them into device. If device is at up to the protocol level, then I am at the TRL level 5 or 6, means technical readiness 5 6. That means it is technology is ready to transfer for a large scale production. So if TRL is high, that means your device or any output is ready to transfer or to go into the market without any hesitation. So
Okay.
basic science research is at the bottom. Once they are ready in the form of device or anything or technology level, so they identify this that way. So
Right,
whatever
right.
input you are giving, they identify your technology at which place it is going to be fit. Based on that, they will give you money. Even though they are giving the money, if you want to transfer your technology into a large scale production.
Okay, right. That is because I frankly tell that I do not aware regarding TRL 1, 2, 3 up to
Okay.
9. That is the fact.
Yes.
But this is really very informative for us also, to all the participants. Now, hand over
Yes, sir.
to Prashant Patel.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Saurabh, Soni, sir, for your very nice talk. Till how one can submit the proposal, till what is the undergoing process, and then what after the submission, what will be the process. So you go through all the journey of how to prepare uh, for the research proposal and how to get the grant. So on the behalf of organizing committee, will uh, share certificates to you, sir.
Wow,
So
No problem.
certificate for appreciation
wow,
to you, sir, Professor Saurabh Soni, sir.
wow.
On the behalf of organizing committee, please have a moment of from us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good, very good. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So
So
now,
this is going to be shared with me, or should I have to download?
no, I will share with you, sir. No
Okay,
problem.
okay, no problem. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me and giving me opportunity to share some of my input for the preparation of the project proposal rather project. Okay, thank you
So
once one and all, and with your kind permission, may I leave now?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
So this will end of our session. We will gather tomorrow again at 1 o'clock for the next day. Okay. So
okay.
thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Prashant. Thank you.